Madam Kelly, I suppose you're not satisfied with this answer from Mark Rutte, that we need Donald Trump in the European Union.
I'm not happy with Mark Rutte's comment, the head of NATO, who claims that we also need Trump. The president of Poland himself, Karol Karolowski, says that he doesn't need Donald Trump, that they don't need the United States. And this, while referring to NATO, he says, I'm not satisfied with this response that we need Donald Trump in the European Union, he claims. Poland also defeated the Soviets and the Bolsheviks. Finland defeated the Soviets and the Bolsheviks. Japan and Afghanistan also defeated the Soviet Union. So, obviously, it's not as necessary as Donald Trump has repeatedly claimed. We are prepared in our countries to ensure our independence, although we do need geopolitical relations, but above all, the European ones. They need to be stronger, says Karol Karolowski himself. And look at what he says on this topic, what the Finnish president himself says. The president of Finland also gives a comment. Because all of this, this whole topic of what Donald Trump wants to sell to NATO is that he needs it. What for? To defend against Russia? Difference between the countries? Well, no, not necessarily. Check this out. Let's listen to what the Finnish president says. Look at what Russia has achieved in the last 4 years in the war with Ukraine. He says that's what Nogro has achieved. 20% of Ukraine is occupied, but there are more than 1 million, between the dead and wounded, more than 1 million soldiers. The sphere of influence is now reduced. Also, a completely broken economy, inflation at 30%, interest rates at 16%, zero growth, and oil reserves completely depleted. What if there's not even money to pay the soldiers? NATO got bigger, Ukraine became European or is in that process. And Europe massively increased military spending. Defense spending has risen impressively in Europe. So then, after 4 years, what is it? Is it a stronger Russia or is it now a stronger NATO and a stronger Europe? The question also has a double edge because it also turns toward what's happening with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, well, today he made several comments. And everyone is wondering if this is the end or the beginning of the end of NATO as we know it. At least now let's go to one of the points that Donald Trump made today.
Well, we appreciate all the cooperation we've been giving.
He discussed several topics, including Donald Trump. That the authorities in Caracas, well, once the attack and capture of Maduro was over, they called and said, let's make a deal. More people should do that. Kind of warning that if they don't make a deal with him, well, something else could happen to them. An aggressive way of talking about the issue of Greenland and what's happening in NATO itself. Also, another comment that caught attention is the following. Let's listen to it.
And then, after the war that we won, we gained a lot. Without us, now we would all be speaking German.
If it weren't for us, without the United States, he says, right now you would all be speaking German. He says this in Switzerland, a country where one of the main languages is German, precisely. So while the situation with the comment was totally awkward, there's also another comment that stands out, and it's that he's been getting hit hard constantly. And to the Canadians and to this Mark Carney, the Canadian Prime Minister, he says the following. There's nothing more about it.
Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
He says to him, Canada exists because of us, he says. He assures that the Golden Dome will also defend Canada. Canada receives many advantages, he says. By the way, they should be grateful, but they're not. Yesterday, I saw their Prime Minister, and he wasn't that grateful, but he should be grateful to us. Canada lives thanks to the United States. Remember that the next time you make statements, says the President of the United States. Well, within all these situations, within this isolation that Trump is creating, well, obviously he has also been commenting on the issue of Greenland, and there are a series of confusing comments because he confuses Iceland with Greenland. Let's listen to him.
They'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you.
And well, there he said island instead of Greenland or Greenland, and he repeated Iceland several times, right? He says, President Donald Trump seems confused during his speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, saying he doesn't know if NATO would support the United States as they don't support them. In the case of Iceland, I assure you, our stock market had its first drop yesterday, because it's not the first drop. By the way, he says Iceland has already cost us a lot of money, but that drop is significant compared to how much it has risen. I mean, it has risen more than it has fallen, supposedly not. At least that's what Trump argues in this comment in Davos, and this situation is starting to make some noise. What we're seeing here is the amount of United States bonds held in other countries. You can see the amount that Japan has. Impressive, impressive. Treasury bonds are spread all over the world. And what if the countries, because of what Trump says or for whatever reason, use them and sell them? In the end, this could cause a catastrophic problem in that country's economy. Yesterday we told you about a pension fund called Akademiker Pension, which is a Danish fund. He says they will sell all their treasury bonds. It's no longer a business, it's no longer generating, and besides, it's creating a lot of risk, so they sold the treasury bonds. If European countries start doing this, just think about it. Look at how many the United Kingdom has, how many China has, yes, but there are other countries that might not sound as big, like Belgium, yes, like Luxembourg. They don't need to sell it all. Even selling just a quarter would be significant. Just one of them already creates a pretty serious economic problem for you. The fund stated that United States finances are no longer sustainable due to weak fiscal discipline, a weakened dollar, and the pressure on Greenland aren't helping. European countries hold $0.6 trillion in treasury bonds and 40% of all foreign holdings. If other countries follow suit and start getting rid of their treasury bonds, yields would shoot up. Borrowing costs would rise. The United States' existing debt would become significantly more expensive. Come on, unpayable. It would be a really harsh economic implosion. If this happens, then, in the end, those are the balances of power that exist right now, let's say. And in the face of a possible conflict, in a risky situation, we would first see a huge economic collapse as well. Within all of this, there are other comments that have been coming up. In an interview, for example, with News Nation, he says the following. Let's listen to a bit of this.
They ask him about the weapon.
The sonic weapon that he supposedly used over there in Venezuela. And does Donald Trump confirm and assure this? That they have, well, a series of weapons. Without specifying which ones, he simply says that he has weapons that no one else has, that no one knows about. And well, it's a topic that he didn't drop. He didn't give many details, just that they did use the sonic weapon. I mean that they used a different weapon. He doesn't specify exactly if it was the sonic one or which one, but that's supposedly how they managed that movement at the military base where Maduro was. There are other reports that claim that in reality there was an agreement with Russia. That's why they left there a week before, and that's also why all the Russian radars didn't work that day. So are there other versions of this too? But anyway, that's how things are with what's happening with this possible potential beginning of the end of NATO, as it's known, at least for now. Now, it has really left several issues regarding Greenland, which also draw attention. In which he now says that he is not going to use force because it's not necessary, that anyway they are going to hand it over to Greenland. Basically, he says, let's listen, thank you.
Thank you. What do we propose to bring to the military table for Greenland? Thank you.
We'll all see what happens. The military's not on the table. I don't think it'll be necessary. I really don't. Okay, I think people are going to use better judgment. They'll use their best judgment.
The military won't be, let's say, on the table. The army's not on the table. I don't think it's necessary. It's not that he's saying he won't use it. He's saying he doesn't think it's necessary. But well, that's also part of the comments he's making about it. Obviously, that was one of the things he was asked about the most. Let's move on to other important matters as well, important ones. other Russian flags, but they say these are Russians who don't want Russia operating there and believe Crimea should be independent. A series of striking comments. In all this discussion, this debate that's happening internally, and in which it seems, at least that's how it looks, that Ukraine wants to free itself. That would obviously be a very interesting topic. One of the problems is that they've been lacking supplies, basic things, for a while now. People had started organizing small protests, but we hadn't seen one this large before. I mean, it's been clear for months now that there's discontent because of the lack of basic supplies, and this could obviously spread even further. Because of what's happening now, with all of this going on, and the fact that the conflict doesn't seem to be progressing as they wanted, because apparently Russia had an agreement with the United States to negotiate certain territories in Russia's favor, but clearly that didn't happen. And even less so in a year when the United States' involvement in terms of weapons has been minimal. In other words, the United States' participation dropped off. It's mostly intelligence now, not weapons. Things that were promised, some have been delivered, some haven't, but they were promised over a year ago. Other than that, the participation has been minimal. The cargo is now shifting more towards Europe, and we're seeing more and more approaches between Russia and the United States. Look, this is just an example. What we're about to see, look, this is like a snapshot. There is the Republican Congresswoman Ana Luna. She is cutting the cake with the shape of Greenland. But what stands out is not that which is controversial if you want. Okay, it's controversial, but here are several members of the Republican Congress. But next to the person who is there, next to the one who is about to speak, in a moment, he is a Romanian figure, and you might ask, well, what's the significance of him being Romanian? It's just that he's a Romanian figure, that's all, and we're about to listen to him.
Jürgen is from Greenland. We met at an international event.
This figure, this Romanian who is speaking there, it has been known for a long time that he is a Russian agent inside Romania and that he is, well, totally allied with Vladimir Putin. What is this figure doing with Republican congressmen? He is the leader of the Romanian far-right pro-Russian party OUR, known for a long time as a Russian agent. What is he doing cutting pieces off Greenland? With Republicans? What's going on there? Obviously, it's a fascinating topic to look at. Most of the population in the United States has no idea what's going on. Because it's so polarized and so politicized that a lot of people have lost the ability to analyze things in that sense, and they just follow certain particular forms of media communication, the ones who aren't going to tell them about this, right? Obviously, so they're blind, right? They're living blindly to a situation that's becoming more and more obvious, aren't they? In which it seems surreal, right? The truth is we're living in a really surreal moment. And what's surprising is that the ones who should be aware of this don't even realize it. But anyway, that's how things are. On this topic, let's move on to other important points as well. On the other hand, President Trump claims that many prisoners in Venezuela have been released. According to him, it seems like he wants to justify the actions of Delcy Rodriguez, in which he claims that many prisoners have been released, when it's known only a minority has. Where the same organizations that are confirming this whole situation have said that very few have been released, and most of them have practically been foreigners. As claimed by Delcy Rodriguez's government, that there have been 406 people released, even following the narrative of the Chavista regime, since those 406 releases don't even reach half of what they should be. And the confirmation of these 400 is actually very minimal. It's estimated that only about 100 or 150 have truly released political prisoners from prison. And the confirmation is it's estimated that there are about 150 who truly would have been, and 150 who truly, it's very minimal, less, estimate 150. Truly, have they released them? What has been observed is that the families are there asking for their relatives to return, and they haven't done so. There is a very desperate situation for the families in Venezuela because they are not being released. But in the meantime, Donald Trump is now whitewashing them. He's cleaning up the regime's image. Well, and the confirmation, 400, well, it's much less, just estimate. There are about 150 that there really would be. Confirmation of 400. Well, it's very minimal, or less than 150 that there really would be. We have to remember that this, well, the former Prime Minister of Korea, and the confirmation of it is very minimal. Less, estimate that out of 150 in the world, in which so much. The former South Korean Prime Minister Han Duck-soo has been sent to jail to be in jail for 3 years. Yes, confirmation of 400, well, it's really 150. That truly would mean 5 years in jail. For having declared martial law. Do you remember? Did he declare martial law? And after his group? Was it to avoid a corruption investigation? Could this have led to war with North Korea? But the former Prime Minister would have also been involved in this. There's the President and the former one. The confirmation of 400, well, that's very minimal or even less. Estimate it's about 150, that truly. The confirmation is very minimal. Estimate about 150. That would truly step in to defend against any situation or any invasion of Greenland, the NATO countries. The island of Greenland belongs to Denmark and has the status of an autonomous territory. It was because what Donald Trump was saying is that if someone attacks or invades Greenland, no one is going to step in just because they saw the video to Greenland. And we're going to have Russia or China as our neighbors. That's the argument Trump has. NATO already responded to that. That's false, totally false according to NATO. The Secretary General of NATO responded to this situation and assured that Greenland is indeed protected by Article 5 of NATO. The treaty ensures that there is no doubt that any country, that all NATO countries, would immediately defend against any invasion of any member country. Goodbye for the video. Greenland is indeed established as protected, that's confirmed. Does Donald Trump know it? Obviously he does, but it doesn't help his narrative, so he doesn't say it. Article 5 of NATO states that an attack against one member is an attack against all. It was only activated once after the September 11, 2001 attacks. Donald Trump claims controlling Greenland would strengthen NATO, but then says it wouldn't because of NATO. I mean, because by watching the video, the movement since the ceasefire that has taken place between Greenland, between Israel and Gaza, by watching the video, we're going to go, this ceasefire was put in place. In a series of phases that, although they haven't been fulfilled 100%, well, they've more or less tried to meet them up to certain points, and obviously things are changing right now. Israel is requesting has ordered the evacuation of Palestinian families in the south of Gaza, specifically in Bani Sahwila and the east of Khan Yunis. From watching the kind of video that has been seen since the last ceasefire, which was in October, it hadn't been seen since October. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching the video. Israel Defense Forces Defense. They dropped a series of leaflets from planes. Planes flew by, dropping leaflets so that the residents would leave the area immediately. The messages were written in Arabic, Hebrew, and English. For watching the video, the point is that they can't agree on what's happening, but what is certain is that the release of the pamphlet is confirmed. Thank you for watching the video. Families then decided to leave simply to avoid the risk, but it's not known if the move was complete or not. That will be their decision. But there are 2 million people right now living in precarious conditions, basically under tents, in tremendous cold. Thanks for watching the video. Civilians in Gaza don't trust Hamas, that terrorist group, nor do they trust Israel. So they're caught between a rock and a hard place, so to speak. I mean, this situation is really complicated. Obviously, from watching the video, it's about to restart today actually, because it should have already restarted by now. Thanks for the video. Thank you for the video. Nuclear. According to the reports, this would be the nuclear plant that was, by the way, on pause. This would be the largest nuclear plant on the planet. By video, thank you for watching. Thank you for the video. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for the video. For watching the video. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for the video. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for the video. A world with potential capacity to, well, they illuminated. So a good part of that country is preparing to restart operations today. This will be the first time since 2011 when the Fukushima nuclear disaster happened. Well, this was put on hold back then. On that date, it's been more than 10 years, right? And now it's active again, right? TEPCO announced this after receiving final authorization and now plans to remove the control rods. After 7 in the evening, Japanese time. So, well, it's already past 7 now, so it should already be active. At this moment, the situation isn't very controversial, but it's already active, right? It's already active. At this moment, the German government is also reporting that it will respect the decision made by the Deutscher Fußball-Bund. In the event of a possible boycott of the World Cup, the German government will abide by the German Football Association's decision on whether there will be a boycott. Responding to Donald Trump's Greenland threats, the United States president said he was not trying to take over Greenland. He warned that European countries opposing the tariff reduction plan are causing some anger. This evaluation corresponds to the federations involved in the case of the Deutscher Fußball-Bund and Fédération Internationale de Football Association. The federal government will abide by the indicated assessment, stated Christian Snerderlin, Secretary of State for Sports. The federal government will respect the autonomy of sports. The sports federation alone decides on participation or boycotts of major sporting events. So, while the federation will decide whether they will boycott or not, there's talk that several countries might also boycott this event. There was even talk about ticket cancellations, but so far that's been false. Actually, it's quite the opposite. There isn't a huge ticket sale. They claim it's the record for ticket sale requests in the history of soccer. So in that sense, that's not the case. Nothing has changed. And if there are cancellations, there are plenty of people who want to buy them. At least so far, there isn't a boycott when it comes to tickets, but there is when it comes to countries. A possible potential boycott. It's not a boycott that has started or happened. It's just a warning. That's all it was at first. There was a German congressman who said, well, maybe we'll boycott, but that's all. It was just a comment that caused a lot of noise. But now, if the German government says the Football Federation can't do the boycott, then they can't. That, well, would be respected, let's say, right? So, well, just be careful with that. Other countries are in a similar situation, right? France and others could also boycott. Although this, I insist, hasn't started yet. That could be all. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's go to the comments. Thank you for watching the video. How have you been? Greetings to Nicole. Greetings to whoever is here, Aurora. I don't even know if you received the email. I sent you the email. You asked me for it last time and I put it there, but I'll send it to you again with pleasure. Civil, do you know? I saw the message right away. I had already left, but I did leave the email. This one, but it went through 3. Allow me, and if anyone wants to write down my email, well, there it is. It's very easy. PP and Vivo Yo and com. There it is. Look, it's Jose at ppnvivo.com. Pepe, both with double P. There it is. Look, that's the email. Write it down. If you want to send me any message, any photo you find interesting, all of that, it's very much appreciated. Also, a very special thanks to all the channel members. Thank you for supporting us in that way. Thank you for helping the channel exist. The channel exists thanks to you. I want that to be very clear, that the community is what makes the channel exist, and especially the members. And also the people who send us a super chat. That keeps the channel sustainable so we can be here daily sharing information with you. Thank you, Jose. Greetings, Christy Clans as a state, and thanks for being a channel member, Liceo, and to all members, thank you. There's the email. I'm going to pin it in the chat so you can get it. Later, I'll post it again. It used to always show up around here, so I'll put it up again later. I'll add the text here. I think I can add it. I think if I can add it, I'll do it later. There's also the website. The website is there, and there's also a chat, and the chat comes directly to me. So, well, you can also reach me there. I don't know if you can send me photos. Honestly, I don't know, but you can write to me as well. Greetings to McAllen, Texas. Miguel, thank you so much. It's been a while since I visited. Greetings, it's been a long time. Matosa. We lived in Quintana Roo for a while. We were there for a few years, and during all that time, we didn't go to the United States. No, I went to Los Angeles once, maybe twice, but it was for YouTube stuff, you know, things related to this. And after that, I don't think I've gone back because it's really far from us, and then we moved here. Monterrey. When we arrived, the pandemic started, and a few years later, still nothing happened because of that. The eustachian tubes and related things can also make you feel lazy. It's my turn. I have family and friends there, so I'll visit them later. Greetings, Jose and everyone. Who do you think I look like? Nicole and Franco, very good. Christy Kranz, Cirilo, Valerio, how have you been? Very good. Finish it, because the one who knows sets the tests, says Cirilo. About what? About what topic, my friend? About what topic? With the sword sheathed, he doesn't even know what's going on, and he shows up with the sword sheathed, right? My buddy. He says, good afternoon, community. Thanks, Pepe, Astrid, and Bayo. Well done, Marcela, Cristina. Chiliro? The images are shown to see what's happening and what you're saying. I mean, what's going on. Images of what, buddy? I mean, well, I share the images I have. It seems like you're in another era, another year. I don't know what date, but this is an informational podcast, my friend. It's not television. Now people get confused, right? Well, you got confused and thought this was a television show, right? And here there's a team of people getting images, paying for the images, which is a lot of money. Imagine that. No, it's not like that. That's over. It's not like that, he says. Greetings. Awesome. Greetings to the whole community. Because at this point in 2026, people still don't understand the formats on YouTube. I mean, it's not television, he says. Greetings, Fernando. How have you been? Very good. Marcelo Eliseo says, awesome greetings. Greetings, Pepe. Did Trump use nuclear weapons against Iran? And he said, no, I don't see how. I mean, nuclear weapons can't just be used to attack like that, just like that. If that were the case, the United States would also be completely isolated. I mean, you can't attack a country, especially one that doesn't have nuclear weapons and isn't attacking you, right? So, no, there's no chance of that. And what if they do? Or if it did happen, well, this would obviously lead to a very strong reaction against the United States, because in the end, it would result in a lot of casualties. The people aren't to blame for the terrible regime they have. So, right, in any case, it would be precision strikes if an attack were to happen, which honestly, I doubt. At this point, it seems very unlikely because nothing at all is happening. In any case, there was an aircraft carrier that timidly approached the area. But aside from that, nothing else is visible. So if there's any intelligence detail, if there's any movement, we'll be commenting on it here immediately. But so far, things are calm regarding that matter. However, people are having a very hard time, including those inside Iran. Greetings. How have you been, Dorian? Very good. Eliseo, Marcela? Hey, greetings to Roble. I don't know if he'll watch us later. Aurelio, how have you been? Greetings to California. See you in a bit. This video leads directly to the other. Leave. I think so. So let's go right now. I won't say goodbye. Let's just go over there. I'll see you there. Take care.